Hi angels, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a little midterm study vlog. I have a couple exams coming up, so I'm just going to teach you and show you how I like to do it and just like a little different method of my studying. So make sure you guys subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss another one of my videos. And let's just get straight on into today's study vlog because I'm super excited, super chill, and super fall vibes. So I like to studying a week before my midterm. So this is Monday. A lot of people like to do it like 2 weeks before, but personally, I do not remember anything from the 2 weeks prior. So I feel like the week before is just the way to go because then you can just study going off of that. When I'm studying, I always make sure I have drinks and I have food. Different types of snacks, and then I also like to have like a little bit of to-do lists, and then I like to plan out either the week before, like I mentioned, or I like if I have a lot of things that I need to study and do, I like to just do the day. So that's why I have both of those. Right now I'm doing West Civilization as my little studying. This is the thing that I feel like I spent the most time because we don't really have a midterm. The way he set up the class is like we have homework due, then we have essays that are part of the exam, but like you can turn it in before the actual multiple choice part of the exam is due. And then he sets a day where you don't even have to come to class, you can just take it home. And it's super easy because if you do the homework is the answers to the test. So it's just really funny how he set it up. But honestly, this is the class that I feel like I study for the most when it comes to exam days, just because I like to know off the bat what information I need. And since he makes it so easy, it's really just a matter of taking good notes and then kind of copying it down from there. So my exam is on a Tuesday, and I started a week before just because there's just so much history that he covered and I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing. He also doesn't cover everything like 2 weeks before the exam. He covers them the week ends covering the unit the week before the exam. So like we'll have class, if it's on a Tuesday, we'll have class the week before Tuesday and Thursday, and then the Thursday he'll finish up the unit, and then the next time is when you take your test. So it's always been like that, and it's really funny that he does it like that. But what am I gonna say? And then for my speech class, it says we have a midterm, but she hasn't even mentioned it. So I'm going to say that there's not a midterm and there's really just like a speech that we have to do. So for that, I'm just setting up my speech and practicing and making an outline for my speech. I don't really know if she wants us just to, speak or make a whole presentation. Don't know how that's going to work with projectors and things like that, so definitely have to ask her that in this upcoming week. But that, when you're watching this video, I still have like 2 weeks before my speech, so October is really just midterm season. Then again, when you're watching this video, I have another midterm on Thursday in my English class, and she's like, honestly, it's a very low stake one. It's like 10% of our grade, and she's like, I'm really just asking you to like interpret things, and she's like, there's no wrong answer as long as you defend it. So we have just like a couple readings that we've read before, but she wants us to reread and then just answer questions off of that. So I'll probably redo that again. I didn't do it in this video because again, this is the week before, and when it comes to English, comment down below if it's just me, but I'm terrible at like interpreting things and making them super deep. Like sometimes people come up with interpretations, I'm like, oh, like I never really thought about it like that. Like I'm very like surface level when it comes to those things. So with my English class, I feel like I have to read the things before, like either a day or two before, because if not, I won't remember like the really, really small details of things. And yeah, that always happens to me. Like the first quiz that we had over reading, I got a 2 out of 10 because I like read it, but I only remembered the concept of the reading and not like the small details. And she was looking for the small details. So a lot of the times I would have to like either reread it or like really annotate it while I read it. So that's one thing to think about. But yeah, I really like just separating my days when it comes to midterms. A lot of people like stress out about it, but for me personally, my midterms are both there. All of them are kind of like study for it and get a good grade. So yeah, personally, I think doing it the week before is probably the way to go, or like the night before, maybe. Another thing is, like I mentioned, I always have a to-do list that I have, so I'm just checking it off my lists because it's so satisfying to check things off of your little to-do list. So I don't know. And then Thursday, the reason I have this big chunk of time, like Tuesday, I don't even know, like I was busy, like I had classes stacked on, and then Wednesday I usually study, but I was just like not in the mood. I think I did like do work, but I just didn't feel like filming it. So Thursday I got myself a little drink to celebrate my commitment to the studying, and then I'm also updating my calendars. I think this is super important because I don't know, I love having a little drink when I'm studying. I'm also, when I do my English work and my history work, sometimes I can't watch anything. Like right now I'm watching Ugly Betty because I'm just taking notes. But one of the things that I feel like I need to do is just put on some music. So before I put on The Weeknd, I love The Weeknd so much. Comment down below your like favorite musician. I love The Weeknd so much. But I always like listen to music. Sometimes I have to do it in complete silence, which it just happens that way. Like my brain moves a million miles per hour and I just like cannot comprehend anything. So yeah. But today when I'm watching this, I'm just taking notes. Since it's Thursday, one of my classes, my English class, was canceled for the day, and then one of my other classes was canceled, so I just had like a really long block of time where I could just do whatever I wanted. So that's what I did, and I decided that I wanted to get ahead on my notes for my classes, so that's what I'm doing. I'm getting ahead on my notes, so then when I go to lecture, I'm just kind of adding in little things and working on the homework. I think this was like a smart move on my behalf because it just gave me extra time to like do whatever I wanted and kind of listen more into the lecture. So if you ever have time and they give you the lecture notes ahead of time, I 100% think it would be totally worth your time if you like did it ahead. But maybe it would have to be over something that you kind of partly understand, or finishing up, like if they have one lecture about one topic and then they had to split up into 2 days, you can do the first day like just going into lecture, taking the notes, and then the second day you can take the notes in advance and then kind of add in. I never thought about it until this year because I always used to just take notes and then revise them when I got home. But like, what if you take the notes and then revise them while you're in class? Because he's giving you more information in a way than he's going to put on your presentation slides. So something to think about. But yeah, I'm just taking notes, lots and lots of notes. I do like other little assignments leading up to my midterms, but I just didn't film them. Like Wednesday I did a lot of just like smaller assignments for my fundamentals of speech class, and then one of them was for my teaching class. I think one of them was actually an assessment, which is technically our midterm, but it was just like a little poster and infographic, so I didn't I didn't care about it too much. So yeah, that is kind of how I think about midterms, is I just study the week before. I don't know if you've seen all the calendars I have on my desk. I'm looking at it right now. I also have a monthly calendar, and I write in whenever I want to study slash when I want to so whenever I want to study, and also when the exam is, so then I just plan it out better for myself. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. I like planning monthly and also weekly, because then you have an overview, but then you also have like a really up close and personal view. But I think my biggest tip with midterms is don't wait until the last minute, because some and it's also, you have to listen to your professor, because some professors take midterms like really seriously, and then others, like my professors, are like, these are really low stake midterms, and then one of them, my Western civilization class, isn't even a midterm, it's just an exam, and he, like I said, gives us the answers pretty much. So I don't know, I just think it really depends on your professors, and you just gotta listen in class and take really good notes, because all of my tests are pretty much open note, so that's a really good plus. Okay, so the last day is Friday. Fridays probably was the most important day for me. So I sat down and just wrote the essays that I had due for my Western civilization class. This is one of those days where I literally have to have no music on and it's just my brain, because these essays, he did it where you have an opinion and then about a history thing. I think one of them was the transformation of Christianity under Constantine, and then the other was what we thought about like the Roman Republic, like the Republic and how it ended, like what was the leading cause. So both of them were really like, here are some reasons, pick what reason is the best reason and then defend it. So I really needed to like tone in to my thoughts. So this was a time when I literally had complete silence. I was just riding in my bed. I was going to do it in my desk, but it was one of these days where it was like a true fall day. It was a little bit colder, and I was like, honestly, the vibes are just leading to me being in my bed. So that's another thing, you have to listen to yourself. I know exams can be super stressful, so I personally think that if your body is telling you, hey, work from your bed today, just do it, because you'll thank yourself later, honestly. Another thing I like to do is when it comes to my exams, I like to make study guides for certain ones. So like if they give you the answers, then do that. But personally, I don't know, I just like having those little study guides, because when they're open note, you can just use the study guide plus your notes. So I think your study guide should be like a paraphrasing of all of your notes for the unit, and then separated by chapters, which is mostly what I do. When I'm writing essays, I also like to look back at all my notes and all of the presentations that I've gotten, and kind of use those as pieces of evidence to just support my answers. And then I also use Grammarly to make sure that I'm making sense. Yeah, that's what I do. So overall, if you guys are having midterms, I hope you guys are relaxing, you're gonna be chill, and you're gonna have a great time with your midterms, even though it's a little bit stressful. But personally, I think you can prepare yourself to success. Set up a week before your midterms, start studying, put on a lo-fi playlist. I have one linked down below. It's my like normal playlist. I have a bunch of different playlists, but one for every mood is my thing. But yeah, so that's personally what I like to do to midterms: set myself up a week before, and then plan out like what sections and what classes need the most attention. For me, it was my history class, because it's a bigger grade. But then as I get closer to other deadlines, I like to focus on other things. So like my fundamentals of speech class this week, I have a bunch of things due, so I'm probably going to do it either this weekend or during the week. But I like turning things in before the deadline, because then sometimes your teachers will give you feedback and you can just like correct it. Sometimes you can't, but my professors are pretty chill. So let me know if you have midterms, and if you do, comment down below what midterms you have. Thank you so much for listening to my rant about midterms this year. Make sure you guys subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss another one of my videos, and stay tuned for next Sunday's video, because it will probably be another study vlog, because that's all I'm doing with my life. But yeah, stay tuned for next Sunday's video, because I promise you guys it will be an amazing one. Thanks again for listening and watching. Bye guys.